Good afternoon, coaches. Welcome to our March Coach Launchpad session. My name is Elena Sarango Muniz, and I am an ICF member and volunteer. And I started the Coach Launchpad about 2 years, 2.5 years ago. As a volunteer, I wanted to have a platform where new coaches, aspiring coaches could come and learn from experienced ones on how to create our own coaching business. And believe me, throughout this time, we've learned so much. Before I introduce you to our wonderful speaker, I would like to share one slide. Let me go there. And this is to talk to you about the benefits of becoming a member of ICF Houston and ICF Global. There's a difference for ICF Houston. One of the benefits, obviously, is to attend the Coach Launchpad like today, but we have other events and activities. As you can see, I'm not going to read each benefit from becoming an ICF Global member. And you have the ICF Houston chapter benefits as well. So if you're on the fence, take a screenshot or let me know. Happy to share this slide with you. To become an ICF Global member is $270 a year, and to become an ICF Houston member is $100 a year. And I'll be more than happy to answer any questions again after this session today. I also want to share with you that the next event coming up, we have live in-person events in Houston. This one is in person and is to recognize ADHD in coaching clients with Manal Brockman. And this will be, I believe, at the same venue that we use for all these different events in person. So I'm going to stop sharing. All right. And now I'm going to introduce you to our speaker. Denise is actually an amazing coach with some years of experience. She's PCC, and she's been actually, I'm glad to welcome Denise back to the ICF Houston chapter because she's been speaking to for our chapter for many years. We just calculated about 16 years. And she started speaking to us since 2010, more or less. And Denise is a coach, advisor, business development advisor and coach. And also she coaches to speak. I might need Denise's help as well. And Denise is going to share with us today her expertise on how to embrace sales into our coaching business, which is something that we all kind of are worried about, scared, or we say we don't like it, that that's not why we sign up to be a coach, but it's such an essential part of our business. So without further ado, Denise, welcome to our session today, and thank you for being here.
Okay,
There we go.
there we go. I had to take off my headset because that wasn't working, so you're going to hear me through the computer. So I want to start by telling you a story. It's my story, at least a small part of it. And I want to wind back the clock. And it's January of 2003, and I've just resigned my very secure, well-paid position with city government in order to build my coaching practice full time. Now, I didn't walk away with a nice government pension. I actually walked away from a nice government pension. And I have a handful of clients, just a handful, paying me a total of $1,000 a month. And that's just not going to cut it. I have a year or less to build a full practice and replace the income and the benefits that I've just walked away from. part of me is really scared. Part of me thinks this may have been the stupidest thing I've ever done. And yet the other part of me knows, just knows, that this is my purpose. This is my passion. This is why God put me on this earth. And I have to make it work. I have to, not just for me, but for all the people I'm here to serve. And I got to tell you, I struggled at first doing all the things I now see new coaches and new business owners doing, emphasizing the wrong marketing strategies. But then I got strategic. I used my background in sales and marketing, taking what I knew from other industries, and that's when I started speaking. And speaking has been a wonderfully successful strategy for me over the years as I've talked to thousands of people across the US and the world. I've gotten to coach hundreds of small business owners, and I have built and sustained a high six-figure practice over many years, even with all the economic bumps we've had along the way. But for me, the best part is that I've had the honor of coaching coaches and consultants and wellness practitioners so that they can attract more clients, make more money, and make the difference they want to make in the world. And that's the ripple effect that I wanted to have. So, in my 20 years as a business coach, I think I've seen it all. I've seen businesses that grow and expand and thrive year after year. And I see other businesses that never quite could get off the ground. And I wanted to know, what's the difference? What's the real difference here? And so my intention today is to show you why coaches succeed. And more importantly, how you can take something that you've heard today and put it into action so that you can uplevel your performance, so you can have even more success, even more joy, and even more satisfaction along the way. So, what I've done is I've put together three critical elements that really make up your long term success as a coach. Now, Elena, we're not going to talk so much about sales today. It's going to be overall practice. But of course, if you have any questions about selling at the end of the presentation, I'm happy to do those too. But here's what we're going to talk about today. First, we're going to look at the top three characteristics that you either need to possess or foster in yourself in order to have long-term success as a coach. Then from there, we're going to move from the realm of beingness over to the realm of doingness. And we're going to look at streamlining your promotional efforts. So you stop wasting time, you stop wasting energy and money, and you start getting more clients and more opportunities in the door. And then from there, I want to pull it all together. And I want to give you the key, the secret by which extraordinarily successful people live their lives. Now, I truly want this to be interactive and to serve you. So please do ask me any questions you have along the way, and I'll make sure we save a couple minutes for questions at the end. Okay, good. So here's where I want to start. I want to start by focusing in on how you show up in the world. Your defining behaviors and personality characteristics, since these are just as important, maybe more important than what strategies you employ. I want to talk about what traits and behaviors serve you well and which ones might be a little bit more problematic so that you can play to your strengths and then look at where you may need to up your game. So, what I did was I came up with the top three characteristics of extraordinarily successful entrepreneurs across the board. And before I unveil them, I want to ask you, come off mute, tell me, what do you think those characteristics are? think in terms of personality characteristics, not so much coaching skills, because we're going to say you got to have the coaching skills. But now we're looking at the business side of it. So, what are the most important characteristics you think there?
Confidence.
Determination.
Confidence. Yeah. Confidence.
Confidence, determination. What else?
Ability to pivot.
Oh, ability to pivot. Excellent. What else?
Integrity.
Integrity. Excellent. What else?
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Ooh, this is a smart group.
Interpersonal skills.
And personal skills. What do you mean
Interpersonal
specifically?
interpersonal skills. So
Mhm.
be able to be sociable, get out there, do networking, that which goes with confidence as well.
Okay, right. Confidence and communication, right? They go hand in hand.
Mhm.
Okay, good. Anybody else have something different?
Authenticity.
Authenticity. Good one.
A
Okay.
growth mindset.
A growth mindset versus a fixed one. Yes.
Resilient.
Was that resilience?
Yeah.
Yep. Good. Excellent. I mean, this class gets the gold star. Let me tell you the first characteristic that I defined, and it's not one you mentioned, but it's probably one you didn't quite think of, but you've talked around it. And the first characteristic isn't particularly sexy, I gotta tell you, but it's absolutely essential. And that's the characteristic that I'm going to call rigor. Rigor. Okay, so rigor is all about bringing your A game to the table, doing whatever you do scrupulously well so that you have the highest standards in your customer service, in your business operations, and in your personal integrity as well. You are the core of your business. It's your reputation that's at stake. And frankly, almost inexplicably, I see business owners and yes, sometimes even coaches that are missing out a little bit in the quality department. So rigor is all about your commitment to providing an impactful service and the business operations to support that, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it might be inconvenient. So it's about rigor in your communications and your follow-ups. I see way too many business owners who are too hard to reach. Their voicemail is full. They don't respond to emails or respond to requests on a timely basis. I've seen folks who even let a prospect get cold or die on the vine because they haven't followed up on a timely basis. So it's all about rigor in your personal communications, your follow-ups. It's about rigor in the promises you make. Successful businesses are built on trust and integrity. Deborah, there's that integrity word again, right? And so, do you make promises you can actually keep? And do you keep them? And it's about rigor in your policies and procedures. Do you have a written policy and procedures manual, or is it more hit and miss? And if you have 1099 consultants, part-time employees, whomever, other consultants working in your practice too, are they following your policies and procedures? I know that I started my policy and procedures manual in year 2 of my business after reading the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Great little book if you've never read it. But it's so important to have written policies and procedures and to communicate those effectively to people. And then it's about rigor in all of your efforts. Are you doing first-rate work? Or are you just satisfied with doing enough to get by? My very first coach, she was brilliant. I have so much to thank her for to getting me on the right track right out of the gate. And yet, she's pretty much out of business now. And I can't help but believe it was because she was sort of satisfied with B minus materials, just get it out there, and that came back to bite her in the butt. Okay, so after this conversation today, one of the things I'd like you to do is to assess the rigor of your policies and procedures, of your communication and follow-ups, and all of your efforts, the promises you make as a whole, and see where you can play to your strengths and also where you may need to up your game. Okay? Now, we all know that failure is inevitable. We're all going to fail from time to time. But what separates the successful from the unsuccessful when the going gets tough? What do you think it is?
Consistently doing what you are saying you're going to do.
Consistently doing what you said you're going to do?
The
Learning.
ability to learn from your mistakes
Yeah.
and to bounce back. Sorry.
Bounce back, yes. I hear resilience in that bouncing back. Okay. You're very close. I'm going to call it grit. Grit. Studies across the board show that grit is the major predictor of success. And Dr. Angela Duckworth is the leading authority in the subject of grit. And she defines it as that combination of passion and perseverance. There's that perseverance word somebody shouted out in the beginning. Passion and perseverance. Her research shows that even though it's unarguable that intelligence and talent are really important characteristics for you to have, it's actually grit that is the predictor of success. Now, that should be really good news to all of us, because what that means is that every one of us could be successful at what we do if we're passionate about the work we do and we show a tenacious, dogged perseverance. And Dr. Duckworth's studies have also shown evidence that grit can grow. Grit and resilience are skills just like every other skill, and they can grow with time. And so what I did is I put together 5 steps to grow your grit because it's such an important predictor of your success. So you should see my slides now. The first step is get really clear and connected to your mission. Uber successful people are passionate about what they do, and they believe they're connected to a mission, a purpose that's bigger than themselves, their big why. And as coaches, we know it's not just about goals. Of course, we always work with clients on their goals, but there's got to be a passion, a purpose, a mission behind that. And if you want to continue to grow your grit, stay clear and connected to your mission. The second thing is make fear your friend. Studies also show that our ability to manage the fear of failure is also a predictor of our success. Highly successful people just aren't afraid to fail. They know they're going to fail from time to time, but they keep going. So do something every day that you're afraid of. Grit is not going to grow by playing in your comfort zone or by playing small. So you got to get out there and make fear your friend and do something every day, every week that you might be afraid of. The third thing is tone down your inner critic. You know, that little voice that's always rolling around in your head. You all have one. You work with your clients on this, but what are you doing to tone down your own inner critic? For me, I call my inner critic my gremlins, and I know they're very busy. They're always trying to show me what road bumps, what speed bumps might be along the way. And here's the key, at least for me, what I found is that most of us either listen to our little gremlins, oh, you're right, I shouldn't do that, or we try to stuff them up under the rug. Go away, go away. What I found that works really the best is to acknowledge them. That little voice is there because it has a purpose, a positive intention. It wants to keep you safe. And if you acknowledge that positive intention first, really acknowledge it, then you will be able to say, now I'm going to put you over here in the corner, knowing well that you'll tell me if there's anything else I need to be aware of, but I'm going to keep going. So have some way to tone down your own inner critic. Develop an optimistic outlook. For some people, this comes naturally. For other people, we have to work at that optimistic outlook. Okay? Learn and grow your belief that you can impact and influence your surroundings and the outcomes of events. This one is really personal to me. I was widowed in my early 30s, and a year after my husband died, my best friend walked in the house with Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life, and she handed me the book and said, "Here, you need this." And that started me on a multi-year journey to move from this kind of negative energy that I grew up with my family, that I was steeped in, to the optimistic person that you see in front of you today. And if I can do it, you can do it too. And then lastly, be persistent, especially when you don't want to be. Dr. Duckworth's research shows the importance of consistency and persistence and how they go hand in hand. Just like a musician practices that piece of music over and over and over again, day in, week in, over and over until you reach mastery. So the key is to be persistent, even when you don't want to be. So the key is that folks who manage their fear of failure, folks who keep taking action, navigating the inevitable obstacles, ultimately find success. And so now let's turn our attention to that third characteristic. I'm going to call it focus. Focus. And specifically where you put your focus. You all know as business owners, there is so much that needs to be done. You're the IT department, the finance department, the marketing department, and on and on and on and on. And you could work on your to-do list 16 hours a day and never get it all done and not have any kind of life at the same time. So as a business owner, you have to come to terms with the fact that you can't possibly do everything that needs to be done in your business. You have to figure out what are the things that only you can do and what you can delegate to others. And when you get right down to it, there's really only 3 things that you need to put your focus on in your business, that you personally need to put your focus on. The first one is pretty obvious: client service. That's a no-brainer. Nobody can do that for us. Second one, not so obvious and not so fun for some people, is the acquisition of new clients. I hate to tell you, this is going to be bad news for some of you, but marketing is actually your job. Okay? You can hire somebody to do some small marketing tasks like social media, but keep in mind that the number one reason somebody hires you as their coach is that they like you and they trust you. And they have to have had an experience of you in order to feel that. So if you're new to business or you don't have as many clients as you want, that's where you need to put a lot of your energy. And then the third place that only you can focus is you have to find and train the right people to put in positions where they can do admin work for you, QuickBooks entries, all that kind of non-essential stuff. But it's critically important that you not only find the right person, but that you train them well. It's so important that you give them the right tools, the right resources, and access to you so that they can do their jobs well. I've seen many business owners who hire somebody. I can give you an example of a woman who had a busy accounting practice, and she hired me to help her sort some things out. And she had needed a front desk person. And she hired a good person who had the right skills. She paid her very well. And then she didn't give her any training whatsoever. She said, I gave her desk, her computer, and her job description, and I might as well have walked away and said, good luck. Okay. So remember, you've got to get the right people in the seats of the bus, but they also have to have access to work with you. Okay. I'm going to pause here for any quick questions. Anything not clear?
No questions on the comments yet,
Okay.
Denise.
All right, good. So we know the three characteristics you want to continue to focus on and growing in yourself: grit, rigor, and focus. And now I want to talk about where to focus your energy. Because I know if you keep your eye on the ball and focus in those three areas very deliberately, you'll be successful. But here's the problem. There's always bright, shiny things that come your way that try to take your focus away. Okay? And especially in marketing, where bright, shiny things run rampant and want to keep you distracted. So we're going to turn our attention to marketing so I can show you where to have the biggest impact. Okay? And I'm going to make an assumption that you know who your target market is, you know who your ideal clients are, and you can speak to them about the benefits, results, and outcomes that you provide to them. That's the basis of marketing. So we're going to assume that you have that piece, because I could spend the rest of the time together trying to teach you that piece, but we're going to assume that you have that piece. What I want to give you today is I want to show you where marketing can be very effective and where we're wasting time and energy and resources in our marketing. Okay. So here, this is my paradigm. You will see that all the marketing strategies in the world are inside of that triangle. And I'm going to say that the focus for all of your marketing is to get complimentary coaching sessions or complimentary consultations, depending on who your ideal target market is. So that's the purpose of all of these marketing strategies inside that triangle. And we're going to identify the high touch strategies, the ones that have the highest impact, the medium touch strategies where people get totally confused and gets in the way of their success, and then the low touch strategies. High touch strategies are those strategies where people get a real life, face to face, eye to eye experience of you. Low touch strategies are way divorced from that. Got to have them as part of your marketing mix in all probability, but you don't want to spend way too much time and energy there. The low touch strategies, traditional advertisement of any kind, whether it's a print ad, a TV spot, a radio spot, anything in print, anything from your business card to sending out an email to your website. Most people think website is higher touch. A website is just, if you printed it out, it'd be a nicely formatted brochure. Okay. So, yes, do you have to have a website in this day and age? You have to have something. You have to have a credibility piece. But once you do that, you don't want to spend all your time on online marketing, because that's what's going to get in your way of success. So now let's talk about the middle strategies. Okay. There's only a few. And this is what people get confused with the high touch strategies. So all of your social media, all of it, doesn't matter if it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, doesn't matter. all of social media is a medium touch strategy, and it's our attempt to make the internet higher touch, but it's not high touch. I can say I'm friends with you on Facebook or I'm linked with you on LinkedIn, but are we really friends? Probably not. Writing blogs and newsletters, if they are not a thinly veiled sales pitch, if they are newsletters or blogs of value, where people get value, that's a nice medium touch strategy. And when you add video to your website, then that becomes one of the strongest medium touch strategies. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think's up there in the high touch? Just shout it out. You don't have to ask. What do you think's up there?
Referrals.
Referrals? We all want referrals, right? But it's the building of a referral network that's so important. Because I see people who want referrals all the time, Eileen, but they're not actually nurturing those relationships. So yes, absolutely. Referral partners. What else?
Discovery session.
Yes, but remember, I'm using them as the purpose of all of your marketing. All of your marketing is to get that discovery session, that what I call a complimentary coaching call or consultation. Okay. Yes, they are indeed high touch, but that's where we want to get to in our marketing, because it's in those sessions that we can serve people and talk about how we might be able to help them. What else belongs at the top? So far, we got referral partnerships.
Coffee chats?
Coffee what?
Coffee chats with people?
Coffee chats. Yes, let's call that networking, right?
Yep.
Okay. Whenever you're networking with your target market or with those referral partners that can bring you people in your target market, that's networking. If you're going to the ICF Houston meeting, it's a wonderful time with your colleagues, but generally that's not really networking unless coaches are your target market. Okay. So we have networking. These are in order of impact.
Speaking.
We have our strategic alliances and referral partners. What do you think?
Giving presentations.
Speaking engagements. Yeah.
Speaking. Yes. Speaking in all of its forms.
Even better if it has like a call to action at the end that drives them towards that consultation call.
Absolutely. Raymond, in fact, it's one of the things I teach. If there's no call to action, that people say, that was great. Thank you so much. Bye. Right? There's got to be a call to action, and it's got to be done in a way that the whole presentation isn't a sales speech.
I already did that once and learned that the hard way. I didn't have a call to action.
Okay. So here's your formula for success. You want to spend 80% of your available marketing time on one or two of those high touch strategies that you see up here at the top. If you're deathly afraid of speaking and would rather go to the dentist, you might not want to pick speaking just because it's up at the top. If that's the case for you, strategic alliances, which are your referral partners, and networking work very well together. Those are the relationship building strategies, and you can build a practice using those too. But when I see business owners and coaches, of course, who aren't getting the clients and the opportunities that they want, they have these reversed. They're spending almost 100% of their time down here, mostly in the middle, and little time up here. And they wonder why they're not getting the clients and opportunities that they want. So the formula for success is spend 80% of your time on one or two of those strategies that you want to do, that you'd like to do, and spend only 20% of your time doing the things that support that. So this is a good time for questions. Any questions on that?
Well, I think I have one. And it might be related. And if it's something that you cover in a few more slides, then just put it off. Um, my question is, in that story that you gave us at the beginning where you left a nice job to coach, what did you do to essentially pay bills while you were building your business? And the reason why I asked that is because um in order for me to confidently and properly sell and have confidence in what I am saying, I have to feel secure enough financially
Right.
to be able to do that. And if there's any fear in when I present or pitch, people will pick up on that, and it's an easy shutdown. It's a hard stop at that point when people smell fear on you.
Yep. Very good. I'm going to ask us to put that towards the end of the
Yeah.
presentation. And I actually think this next piece we're going to talk about will give you some access to that, but I also will give you some practical advice at the end. And if I forget, will you please remind me?
Yes, ma'am, for sure.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I have a question
Okay.
about strategic alliances. Will you expand on what you mean by that?
Yes. So these are people who are either in within your target market or they have access to your target market. And because of that, they can refer you. And so my very first strategic alliance is a great example of it because it also shows how I had it wrong in my head. So I went to I was a life coach back 23 years ago. And I went to my chiropractor and I was doing some business coaching too. But I thought that since he had a very busy, successful practice, he was well known in the community, he could send his patients to me. And he was very smart. And what he said to me was, my my patients are blue collar factory workers, mostly men who've been on their feet all day and their backs hurt. They're really not your ideal customers. He said, but I am the national president of the Chiropractic Association, and I could send you chiropractors who need help building their practice. And so, with his endorsement and also having a newsletter in the Chiropractic Journal called the Coach's Corner, that was a perfect strategic alliance. So they're people that you have to establish and build a relationship with. And because they know and trust you, then they will send you clients and opportunities. Okay, good. So we know what characteristics you want to keep expanding in yourself: grit, focus, and rigor. We also know where you mostly want to focus your marketing efforts on those high touch, high impact strategies. But I promised you a third thing. I promise you the secret, the key that brings the beingness and the doingness that we've been talking about all together. And the key to having whatever you want: success in business, good health, great relationships, financial freedom. The key to all of that is something called the law of attraction. Now, we're all coaches. How many of you know of the law of attraction? Let me see a show of hands. Okay, good. Right. Now, here's the more important question. How many of you use the law of attraction deliberately, intentionally in your life every day? Uh-oh. Yay, Elena. Good job. So that's what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about the law of attraction, what it is, how it works, the power of what you put your focus on, and the role your feelings play in getting whatever you want. I want to give you the 3 steps to deliberately creating anything you want, and I want to leave you with some practices that make all the difference. So the law of attraction is a real law of nature, just as real as the law of gravity. And it says that like attracts like. And you want to start thinking about yourself as a magnet attracting people, things, circumstances into your life by your thoughts and by your feelings. You see, your thoughts and your feelings possess a vibrational kind of energy that goes out into the universe and attracts more like it right back to you. So whether you realize it or not, you get more of what you're thinking about, more of what you're putting your focus on, positive or negative, good or bad. The universe is going to deliver more of whatever you put your attention on. So when you think of your business, the financial aspect of your business, are you focused more on the vision of what success looks like and how it feels? Or are you focused more on what you don't want, what you don't like, and what you don't want to happen? Pay attention to your inner dialogue, the thoughts that are always rolling around in your head. Are they mostly about possibility or are they about limitation? I have a favorite story. You might have heard it before, but it's so good that it bears repeating. And it's this. A Native American elder was describing his inner struggles in this way. He said, "Inside of me, there are two dogs. One dog is insecure, unhappy, and has full of doubt. The other dog is happy and confident. And the unhappy dog fights the joyful dog all the time. And when asked which one won, he thought for a moment and he said, the one I feed the most." You create your world with your thoughts. Make them good. And nothing's more important than your beliefs in life. And your belief is nothing but a thought that you thought repeatedly, consistently, and routinely enough until you decided it was true. And your beliefs condition your actions that either move you down a path that you don't want or a path that you do want. Think of the example of Oprah Winfrey. She never believed that growing up poor, female, and Black in Mississippi sealed her fate or made her less than worthy in any way. In her words, she said, "You become what you believe, what you truly believe, not circumstances, not fate, your beliefs." So wherever any of us have something that we want that hasn't shown up in our world yet, we have to look at our thoughts and our beliefs and do some specific work to change them, to shift them. Now, I know that some of you might be thinking, this is woo-woo nonsense for a lady who lives near Asheville, North Carolina, okay? And yet, at the same time, I know that you might be skeptical. And I also know that I can't prove to you this is true. I can't prove it. But I do need to ask you a question. What's the downside of acting as if it's true? Yeah, I heard Derek say to himself, there is no downside, right? No, you'll just end up happier, more peaceful, and more fulfilled. And doesn't it make sense to create your life very deliberately, intentionally, rather than by default? And some people say you have to monitor all your thoughts in order to do this. And given that we have somewhere between 35,000 and 50,000 thoughts that run through our head in a day, that's a pretty formidable task. But there's an easier way to go about it, and that's by paying attention to your feelings. Your feelings are your early warning devices that tell you early on what you might be attracting in your life. So if you're happy, joyful, confident, savor it, build it up, pump it up, add more to it. If you're feeling fearful or scared or negative, right? Tell yourself, stop, stop. Don't keep going down that trail, and do everything you can to find the thought that's causing the feeling. There's always a thought behind there causing the feeling. Okay? And you can soften it. Intentionally soften it. And if that doesn't work, the best thing you can do is absolutely distract yourself. Okay? So there are 3 steps to deliberately creating everything you want. First, ask for what you want. Be clear, be specific. Speak in technicolor. Give it all the details, but really be consistent. Sometimes people don't get what they want because they're like, I want this, no, I want this, I want. Have you ever been around a person, I'm not even going to say a woman, a person who wants to be in a relationship and she says, I really want to be in a relationship. Oh, but the last one didn't work out so good. But I'm lonely, but oh, blah, blah, blah. And so you're giving mixed messages. So the first step is to be very clear and consistent in what you want. The second step is add the power of your emotions to it. Okay? Like I said, pump it up, savor it. What will your life be like when you have that? Write about it and write about it in present tense. And then step 3 is get out of your own way, expect it, believe it, and allow it to come. So, how do you stay focused on the vision, the possibilities, the good things in life? It doesn't happen by accident. It takes practice and the use of daily practices. And it doesn't matter so much what you do, as long as you do something every day. You could meditate, you could pray, you could listen to or read uplifting, inspiring things. You could write all of the things you're grateful for in your life and why you're grateful for them. I do some combination of those things every day, nearly every day. That's my goal. I even have an accountability partner with it because I know my life works better when I do those kinds of things. So it's a matter of having a practice, preferably a morning practice, but if you can't do it in the morning, don't throw it out the window. Having a practice to keep you grounded and centered in possibility, and then watching your thoughts and your feelings throughout the day. So really, we've talked about 3 very different things that really work together to create a sustainable long-term success as a coach. Okay? We talked about how you show up in the world and your personality characteristics, what you do in terms of your marketing, and how you create your world by your thoughts and by your feelings. Each element matters. Each element is essential. And when you put them together in a complete package, you become a powerhouse. So I want to give you some things to take away from this call. If you take nothing else away, here are a couple things I want you to take away from this session. First, do an honest assessment of where you stand on those 3 characteristics. Play to your successes and really look at and address some of those areas that maybe it's a blind spot or maybe it's not one of your strong suits. Do something to address that. Whether it's a tool, a team member, a resource you need, whatever that is, but don't just ignore it because it could come back and bite you in the butt. In your marketing efforts, stay true to the high impact, high value marketing activities like speaking, networking, and strategic alliances. Okay, make them your 80% and choose which strategies you're going to choose based on what you like and what you will do, based on how you feel about it. Because remember, it's all about how you feel about things. Use the power of attraction. Tap into the power of attraction to help you create those things that you want. So the key is to take something you've heard today and put it into action so you can have a life and a business that fulfills and supports you in every way. I can give you the keys to the kingdom, but you got to use them to open up that door. If you don't take any further action from what you've heard today, that's just been a nice Zoom session and you've been with your colleagues for a little while, but won't make any real difference in your lives. And I'm committed to making a difference. So if you're somebody who wants to solve that problem, move forward, build and expand that practice, then consider me as your success coach. So I have an opportunity for some of you today, and that's the opportunity to do a complimentary coaching session with me. The purpose is really threefold. We'll look at where you are right now, what's going on, your goals, and we'll see what we need to do to help you move forward. At the same time, I want to give you value in that session, but we're also checking each other out to see if we'd be a good match. And if we decide that we're a good match together, we'll talk about the next steps. Now it's free. We'll do it by phone or on Zoom, your choice, but there's no obligation. There's no point at which I turn into the used car salesman. What you see today is what you get. I truly want to serve you. So if that's something that would be a benefit to you, I'm going to share my information, and maybe Elena, you could also put it up on the screen. So just reach out to me today before you go to bed. Central Time gives you an extra hour. Okay. Oops. Sorry, I messed that up. Elena, can you put my email in the thing? I want to make sure if we have a couple of questions. Good. Well, do you ever notice when you're trying to do this, it doesn't go the way you want it to? Okay.
I posted the last slide you shared, Denise. So
Okay.
yeah, it's there in the chat.
Okay. And the reason why I say reach out to me today, tonight, is because I know I work best with folks who are kind of gritty. If you haven't figured out, I'm kind of gritty myself. And if you're somebody who takes action, you're going to be more successful. So show me that you are willing to take action and reach out to me to sign up for a complimentary coaching session should you like to do that. Okay? So I'll come back to you, Raymond, but any other specific questions about what we talked about today that's not clear to somebody?
Feel free to come to unmute yourself if you have a question. It's a small group. Eileen?
Yes. So Denise, my question is, you said focus your marketing time, on the highest impact. Do you have a rule of thumb in terms of how much time you should be devoting to that?
What a great question. It depends on how full your practice is. Okay. So I'm going to teach by an example. Let's say you want 10 clients and right now you have 0. Okay. You need to be spending that time, 10 hours a week, on marketing. Marketing and client service are inversely proportionate. And I promise you that's the only math I'm going to give you. Okay.
I
When
like math. I'm good.
when client service goes up, you have 5 clients, you don't have to spend that 10 hours. You can spend more like 5 hours. So look at what time you have available, how many clients you have versus how many you want. And that should be telling you how much time to spend in overall marketing. And then spend your 80% of that time on the high touch stuff.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Good. What else?
Denise, can you describe what you do for a living these days and
What?
kind of where you spend your time?
Well, I spend my time on Zoom or on the phone. I coach. I'm originally a life coach. I have a master's degree in counseling. And it's all life coaching anyways, isn't it? Right? So I'm a business development coach. I also help people with their presentation skills. So I spend my time 6 to 8 hours a day coaching. I also do sessions like this. And I have one large corporate client where I do coaching, executive coaching there but I also teach cohorts of executives how to enhance their presence in front of the room. So mostly coaching and some speaking and training. Okay, good. Raymond, let's go to you. So to answer your question in a nutshell, and Elena, tell me when I'm out of time, and Raymond, we can always spend more time if we need to. You can't just quit your job and try to build a coaching practice, and you can't build a practice from need or scarcity. It's not going to work. You're going to be too worried, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. So when I quit my job, I knew I was lucky enough that I knew that I had 6 months to a year in savings, and
Hmm.
I was willing to invest that money because it was so much my purpose and what I needed to do. So what you almost have to do, are you still employed somewhere?
No, I'm in the exact same situation that you just described there. I'm on a severance package that could take me through most of this year, but at the same time, unless I get something up and running, I'm gonna have to go back to corporate America.
Right. And not what you want to do. So, but you've
No.
got this runway. You've got this runway of this year with a nice package or a
Hmm.
package to give you the security. And so you got to really do everything you can to focus on the right marketing actions, but to get your head in the right space.
Hmm.
And even though I have a 10-step how to build your business, your practice system, I'm going to give you what I thought was the most important thing I did every day. Okay, when I was in your shape, I would sit down every day, every morning, and I would write about my full practice. I would write about the people I was coaching. I would write about the things we were
Huh.
dealing with. I would write about how I was helping them. I would write it in the present tense, like I had it already, until I could feel my emotions kind of getting excited and swelling. I did that 5 days a week. Also, I like to power walk at the park. And so if there wasn't anybody too close behind me, I'm walking and I'm talking about my full practice and how much money I'm making. There's something about combining the exercise with the attraction stuff that just gives it additional power. So that kind of exercise is going to be really important for you as you take the actions that we talked about taking.
Yeah. Just
Did
right.
that help a
Thanks for
little
that.
bit?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, great. Elena, you got a minute, just like you wanted.
Ye- Wow, Denise, this was amazing. You not only finished right on time, but oh my God, so many beautiful insights that I've gotten from your presentation today. We are so, I know I echo every coach that is here. We have learned so much, not only from your experience and knowledge, but your beautiful presence, Denise. That was such an amazing presentation. I am motivated. A lot of the things that you have spoken about have resonated with what I currently do already. So it's like validation to me that I'm in the right path. So thank you, Denise, for this. Before you guys go, please stay for a group picture. And I will also share the feedback code. So if you want to be on the group picture that I post in LinkedIn and I tag ICF Houston, please put your cameras on. And we are going to go ahead and smile to the camera.
Mm.
1, 2, 3. Yay, thank you. I am going to copy this and make sure I post it here, and that's what's going to go in LinkedIn. And please make sure you give us feedback about this session. And there's other couple of QR codes here. So share your feedback, explore ICF Houston membership, and see what is next. So if you could please give us feedback to make this Launchpad even better this year. We want to have the best speakers like we just had with Denise. So if you have any ideas, feedback, suggestions, feel free to let us know through that QR code. Denise, thank you again for your time, and thank you
Very welcome.
everyone, especially those of you that stay until the end, but everyone that was here. And you will receive, this is new, you will receive an email from ICF Houston with your CCEs. So all of you that have attended, now we're granting CCEs for certain sessions, definitely this one. So that will come to you via email. If you are a certified, accredited coach through ICF, that will be helpful. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful week. And thank you, Denise, again. See you
Thank
next
you.
month.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.